All right, you guys, here we go. We're going to talk about macronutrients. So your macronutrients are where calories come from. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You have to understand when we are talking about calories, we need a certain amount of calories in and out.
This is horrible.
You have to have a deficit. You have to take in less than you're putting out. However, if you only pay attention to the calories, there's a chance that you could be burning some good calories when you don't need to and leaving the bad calories there that can still turn into body fat. So without the knowledge that we're talking about today, if you're only counting calories and thinking in calorie dimension, there's a chance that you could lose muscle and not lose any fat and lose weight and think you're doing the right thing. In the end, you would be slowing your metabolism down and you would be losing the wrong type of weight. You wouldn't look or feel right, all that stuff. So we're going to break this down all the way from the beginning. These are your macronutrients: fats, proteins.
Okay, Greg, I cannot hear you, so I have to put my phone, my microphone to my ear to hear you.
All right.
Just so you know, so I'm not going to be able to see what you have on the board. Or I don't know what's up with my volume.
All right, I got a microphone.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Just so you know that the phone's in my ear.
All right, so we're going to start with the fats. We're going to learn what they do in our body. Most of these do a bunch of good things, and they have like one or two little bad things that they're capable of if you do use them wrong. All right, so first thing, fats, they lubricate cells, and I'm talking about any type of tissue in your body. All right, organic tissue with your liver, your heart, your capillaries and your veins where your blood's flowing, your tissue on your skin, your hair, your nails. The fats are great for all of that to make sure that everything's functioning properly. If you're taking in too low fat of a diet and your cells aren't lubricated, number one, you're going to notice that because that's whenever your skin starts messing up. First thing they ask people with skin issues is how much fat do you intake per day. I've been there to the dermatologist, they talk about that stuff. Second, you'll start to notice digestive issues. You'll start to notice like weird like pains in your organ area. If you have any of that, make sure that you're getting the right amount of fats and the right types of fats. First place to start as far as nutrition goes. Second thing, fats allow nutrient absorption. So on your cell, each individual cell is trying to take a nutrient, the bloodstream brings it to the cell, and it wants to penetrate, wants to get in that cell so the cell can use it. Great its job. The fat, the outer layer, your membrane of the cell, it's a two-layer thing. That fat is what allows that cell to be penetrable. Creates these little orifices. That fat allows an opening to happen. It's like a little black hole. It'll let the nutrient in and it'll close back up. If your tissue's not lubricated, the cell's not lubricated, that opening will not open and close. Nutrients can't get in. Which means that you'll eat things, they won't be able to burn off, and they'll be sitting in your body and it's gonna be like, all right, well, I gotta turn that to fat now. So too little amount of fat makes everything you eat store as body fat. It creates cognitive energy. Fat is an energy source and mostly for brain power. So if you're feeling foggy, also a sign like, I've noticed this when I worked out first thing in the morning. I used to eat egg whites and oatmeal because I kept my fat down around my workout. But first 4 hours of the day, I felt like I was out of the loop. So something I noticed, I started adding 10 grams of fat to my breakfast. And it helped out a lot with that. All right, now one of the downfalls of fat is that it burns very, very slowly. It's 1% thermogenic. So it's basically creating a little tar pit in your stomach. If you have too much fat in your stomach at one time, things get stuck. Imagine a tar pit, and it's gonna have a very slow digesting process. When we get over here to talk about carbohydrates, you'll see it's gonna have a possibility of turning into body fat. So if you drop a carbohydrate into a bunch of fat at one time, the carbohydrate's gonna burn very slowly. And after a while, your body's like, forget it, we'll just turn it into body fat. All right, that's the rundown of fats, pros and cons. Definitely important to have, right? Gotta have the fats in the diet. Any questions about fat? All right, this is stuff like avocados, peanut butter, cooking oil, any type of nut. There's making red meat. Most of red meat and salmon are high in fat content. So when you're eating those things, it's not that bad. Dairy, all these things, You want to keep in moderation, though. You want to be aware of how much you're eating. For instance, I had a client saying, yeah, I ate this and this and this, and an avocado. And one avocado has 24 grams of fat, about twice as much as you need in a meal. So I said, cut it down to half, and next thing you know, you start getting results left and right. It was literally the one whole avocado that was holding him back. And this guy I'm talking about, in the past 3 months, he's lost 30 pounds. This is recent. So I'll be doing a story on him very soon too. I'll be telling that. So going on to carbs here. Carbs create energy for, we're going to cover two at once. They create energy for motor movements. So your muscles are fueled by carbohydrate, aka sugar burning. Right? That's what creates that contraction. Also, your brain has a bunch of little micro contractions that go on to stimulate thought. So it does have, again, a cognitive part to it. So energy is going to come from carbs. People that do low carb diet but aren't doing proper ketogenic dieting are ruining their energy levels. They're also ruining a couple of other things we're about to talk about. Number one, stabilizing blood sugar. All right. I talk about all the time that we need to stabilize our blood sugar in order to burn fat. Not possible to burn fat if you have low blood sugar. So you can induce low blood sugar through under-eating carbohydrates. If I had a lady recently said her breakfast, her first snack, they had no carbs. She had a good amount of carbs in her lunch, and then we noticed her dinner had none again. So she was getting 1 time a day she ate carbs, wasn't getting results. I told her add a little bit of carb to the breakfast, add a little bit to the dinner. Next thing you know, it starts happening. Right? She's stabilized. Instead of getting low blood sugar all day long and then barely getting it up in the middle of the day, now she's getting a constant wave. It's slightly elevated. It was stable. Right? So got to get those carbs in regularly. It gives an insulin release. Whenever you take in carbohydrates, pancreas secretes insulin in your bloodstream to help break down those carbohydrates to pull them into the bloodstream. Insulin is going to have a big impact on your body's regulation of storing fat and using those carbohydrates as energy. It's called insulin sensitivity. The more hits of insulin you give yourself per day, the more efficient your body is going to use carbohydrates. Right? So that whenever you eat them, if you can burn 80 to 100% of them off because you have a high insulin sensitivity, that's an thing. If you're only eating carbs once or twice a day, your insulin sensitivity is going to be more like 50 or 60%. And then half the carbs you eat are going to turn into fat every time. Right? This is one of the methods I've used to keep my metabolism going is giving myself 5 or 6 hits of insulin a day through 4 or 5 meals and a workout, maybe 2 little workouts. And all those things release insulin. Hormone production has a lot to do with your carbohydrate intake, right? Insulin is one of those hormones. There's a ton of them in our bodies. Men and women have a few different ones, but we all have a lot of similar ones together where we're bringing a uplifted and a thriving amount of each hormone so that we can have the energy and everything for our body to do what it needs to do, essentially, per hormone. But if you're under eating carbohydrates especially, or calories in general, your hormones are just going to be dragging in the dirt. They're not going to be producing. You're in a bad mood. Everything's going to be off. And I'm sure that we've all felt like that before. You know, you get sick, coming out of that sickness, it takes a few days to get your energy levels back up. And that's because your hormones aren't producing to the right levels because you were under eating. We usually under eat when we're sick, right? That's why that happens. So one of the bad things that can happen is that if you eat too many carbs at one time, you get too much blood sugar, it gets too high, your body can only process so much at once. All right, so if my body can process 40 carbohydrates per hour, but I took in 50, it'll process the 40, but then that extra 10 is going to go to my liver and it's going to store there. If I don't work that off in the next 12 to 24 hours, it's going to turn into body fat. All right. Problem is, I said 40 or 50 grams. Like if you go to the movies and you get a medium popcorn, that's 120 grams of carbs. A Ben and Jerry's ice cream is about 150. Most fast food meals are about 80 to 100 carbs if you get that fry with it. And then, yeah, your body will process 30 or 40 of them, but over half of it is getting stored as fat because you can only take in so much at once. That's what your metabolism does. It's like only been able to put so much air in a balloon before it pops. It's just a truth. We can manipulate that a little bit. We can speed our metabolism up by eating more times a day. and those carbs regularly, you can stretch that balloon out a little bit before you blow it up, and it won't bust. If you prepare it right, it's all bad. All right, and the last one here, proteins. I got questions about carbs. Protein. We have amino acids. All right, and this is very important. There's a supplement called BAA, branch chain amino acids. It is a complex that's found inside of protein. All right, what that amino acid does is it finds the nearest sugar, aka carbohydrate, and it penetrates that thing, right? Breaks into it, and it essentially breaks it down into multiple forms of the next type of energy. All right, glucose, carbohydrate, sugar gets broken down into glycogen. Glycogen is a usable energy that your cells can absorb and turn into blood sugar. Your body cannot absorb a carbohydrate and turn it into blood sugar. It has to have that amino acid from the protein to break the carbohydrate down into something that's usable. All right, salt water. We cannot drink salt water. We have to have heat that will evaporate the water, let the water drip off, get the salt out of it first so we can drink it, right? Similar concept. It's a tool that we have to go through a process first for it to happen. So protein allows those carbohydrates to be absorbed. So you have the hormone production, the insulin release, the motor movements, the energy, the blood sugar, all that stuff. If you're eating carbs and not having the protein with it, it just won't happen. Another truth. Okay? Repairs damaged muscle. So we're in here building our muscles. We're trying to make them thicker, maybe a little bit bigger. If you guys have gains goals, the protein is going to fill in the gaps. When we tear those muscles apart, it creates all these little gaps. All right, we're going to fill in those gaps with extra protein. So when our muscles heal, you got more tissue. Simple. The more tissue you have, the more calories you burn every time you contract it. I mean, brushing your hair, you're going to burn more calories doing those things when you have more muscle. So we definitely want that. And speed up your metabolism through everything I just talked about. That's just a culmination of all these ideas. Higher, faster metabolism means more calories burned. And protein cannot turn into fat. The only downfall about this is that if you eat too much, it makes things move through your body too quickly. So you get some irregularity in your digestion, you get a little extra gas, you're randomly on an elevator and you're like, oh, go. So that's usually like, people eat a whole meal that had protein in it, and then they'll drink a protein shake. And instead of getting like the 25 or 30 grams they needed, they got 50. That 50 grams of a job and sent you to the bathroom for a good 10 minutes. Go ahead. Any questions about protein? Yes, tons of carb. Oatmeal, there's a protein pasta, rice, quinoa, sweet potato, red potato, tortillas. The list goes on, but all those in your membership welcome packet that was emailed to you, just search in your email, welcome to Team Everybody. There's a food equivalence list that has these categorized, and it has 10 different foods fit those groups with the portion size and the amount of carbohydrates or protein fats that would come from that portion of that food. So that's something everybody can have. All right. So now that we know what they do, why they're important, we're going to start breaking down how many we need per day. All right. So first, this is where everybody's going to need a calculator, maybe some scratch paper. If you need scratch paper and a pen, I got you right here. We're going to start calculating this stuff. We're going to break it down from the top of the pyramid, and we're going to get down to the end of it. The first thing we're going to do is calculate our calories per day. All right, and this is a startup equation. It's not perfect, but it at least gets us to a starting point, and then we can start to adjust every 2 or 3 weeks from there based off of what your results are. So you're going to take your body weight, BW, times either 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14, or 15. All right, anywhere between 8 and 15 times your body weight. 8 is if you want aggressive weight loss. All right, 8 is not sustainable long term. I would say if you're going to multiply by 8, plan on that being like a 2 or 3 week thing. And then you need to get yourself back to at least like a slower weight loss category, which would be like 9 or 10. Or 11 is maintenance. If you want to maintain your weight, but maybe focus on being more fit or faster or building muscle up, that's 11. And then 12 to 15, anywhere between there is going to be actually, you want to put on muscle mass aggressively. If you don't want to gain fat, I would stick with 12 or 13. If you don't mind putting on a few extra fat pounds with the muscle, multiply your body weight times 14 or 15. That's up to you. Need everybody to get that number right now. All right, it should be a 4-digit number. Body weight times somewhere between 8 and 15. I'm trying to get swole, so I'll put 15. All right, Jen, you want to be, who's staying a whole hour?
Any number?
They're gonna be here.
Any number between 8 and 15?
Yeah, but it's not just a magic guess. It's 8 is aggressive weight loss. 15 is gains. You decide where on that spectrum you're at. If you want slow weight loss, it's by 10. If you want muscle gains, it'd be like times 12. Maintenance is 11.
Why am I seeing?
Susie, you can be here all class. What's your calorie? All right, 1746. And what number did you multiply by? All right, that was 9. So she wants weight loss on a steady pace. All right, this is something too. I'm gonna upload this video. If you get lost right now, you can come back to this later. All right, we'll recap at the end too. So 1,746 calories is a baseline amount of calories for you to eat per day and get weight loss. Whenever you're eating healthy, I will admit that is kind of a lot of food. All right, so most people are under eating. They're not getting enough. Their blood sugar gets low. They're not getting enough hormone production. Those are the things that keep them from losing weight. It's not the amount of calories they took in, the side effects from taking in too little amount of calories. So we established the daily calories. Now we're going to break those calories down into our macronutrients. Since this is where calories come from, we need to be specific about which ones we're getting to make sure that we have a balanced diet. So first we're establishing protein per day. If you don't want a whole lot of muscle gains, multiply by anywhere from like 0.5 to 0.7. 0.75 times your body weight would be like your muscles probably going to stay the same. Anywhere 0.8 all the way up to 1 times your body weight is going to be you're putting on muscle. All right. You been eating your protein? All right, Susie, we're going to keep you as the example today. Go back to your question too, Daniel. Gain. 0.8. Yeah, everybody should want a little gain unless you already have a real solid amount of muscle mass and you're strictly wanting to focus on the weight loss for a while. There are cycles of this. I go through phases where, I mean, a lot of protein. A lot, yeah. 4 months ago, I was 180 pounds. I was doing great. Then I played a lot of basketball. I renovated the gym. I was burning way too many calories. I got down to like 173, and it was straight up muscle. I lost a ton of muscle. So now I bumped that protein back up, and I'm hitting the weights hard again. So there's times and phases for this stuff. You hit 0.8. 55.2. I'm taking in about 220 grams a day right now. It's tough. 100, yeah, and that's a baseline, but it's not enough to really build those muscles up. Break this into 5 hits a day, it's 30 grams though. 31 grams at a time is really attainable. Gotta make sure you're getting your frequency. You're not going and eating a meal with no protein in it. When you do it consistently, it happens a lot easier. We're gonna take this. We're now going to go into carbohydrates per day. All right, we're going to do the same thing. Body weight times 1. All right, times 1. Actually, we could do 0.75. All right, 0.75 is going to be you're not very active. You are pretty inactive, actually. All right, 1 is going to be like half and half. You're in an active program, you're working out with us, but other than that, you're not really doing much. 1.5 would be I work out most days of the week, and I'm kind of active outside of that. Like when I get home, I'm up moving around, stuff like that, or I have a physical job. So body weight times those numbers. It'll give you something similar to the grams of protein, though. It should be within a similar range there. Whenever you're ready, you're our example today.
I got 261.
61. That's good. I eat about 400 a day right now.
Protein? That's protein?
This is carbs.
Carb, okay.
32.8.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. That is, you're not very active. You're working out 2 or 3 days a week, and aside from that, you're not doing anything else active. You don't need a whole lot of sugar to fuel locomotor movements. All right, 1.5 is the other end. You need a lot of fuel to keep you going. All right. Moving along here. Now, the only thing we have left is calculating our fat, but we got to do a couple conversions first. So 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So we're going to multiply that by 4. 1 gram of carbohydrates is worth 4 calories. So we're going to multiply that by 4. All right. I'll just put that over there. I've been drawing so far. So we're taking our grams of protein, the 155.2 times 4, and the grams of carbs, the 235 by 4. That should give us 2 numbers. One's going to be around 1,000. One's going to be around 600.
I don't know.
Quiet, I'm on the phone.
All right, then we're going to add those 2 bigger numbers together. All right, Susie, what were your numbers? 620. All right, together we got 52. All right. So 1,550 calories from carbs and protein. I got that. We got 1,552 calories from our carbs and protein. We need 1,746 calories per day. So we're going to take our 1,746 fat per day. 1,746 minus 1,552. What's that equal? 200, 194. And then we're going to divide that by 9. Because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. 21.5. Okay, so that's how many grams of fat, according to her conversions, we should be eating per day. All right, so if we put this in order, we're going to go ahead and just say 22 there.
Can I get some of the rest of the ice cream, please?
So these are the grams.
Ice cream.
Grams of fat, grams of carbs, grams of protein.
Bring me your spelling words.
She needs per day to hit her goals. That's going to total up to 1,700 calories, and it's going to make sure she gets the right amounts of each nutrient on a daily basis. Now, I'll go ahead and say there are some parameters and baselines that we have to hit, and the way that you did your numbers, sometimes you run into is that you don't have your baseline fat. So here's what we got to do. Carbs are a little high, the protein is a little high. We're going to take a few away from those, and we're going to make sure we get this baseline 35 grams. All right, so it's a difference in 13. What's 13 times 5?
Yeah.
117. All right, so we're around that 120. 120 divided by 4 is 40. Right, 30. All right, so we want to take 30 grams of protein and carbs away a piece. Not a piece, collectively. That's going to turn that into 140, and that would turn into, we'll say, yes, 217. All right, so those are proper numbers. We just added a little fat in, and we took some calories from carbohydrates and protein
So,
away
Cindy.
so we can keep our daily calories the same. We had to make sure we got a baseline of fat there. Right. I know the baseline memorized. I would say baselines for numbers, we need at least 35 grams of fat per day, at least 100 grams of carbs per day, and at least 100 grams of protein per day. That boils down to just over 1,000 calories. If you're not eating that, your hormone production will be so low that it's dangerous. Those are the people that age really ungracefully and have heart attacks. Serious health issues derived from undereating. So baseline numbers are 35, 100, 100. We messed up somewhere. We'll have to go back. We can definitely put those together later. It is.
Okay.
Right, so we went real high on
Did you take a shower?
Okay. You can't choose the top number on both of them. So we'll figure out which is more important, and we'll amend that later.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, guys. So now that we've gotten our daily numbers, we're going to start breaking this down. You can know grams of each one of these nutrients you need for each meal of the day. Hey, let me. I'm gonna move his computer so y'all can see decently here. I am finagling away. Because we didn't have enough fat in the diet, so we had to add to the fat.
That's horrible.
Fat we have to take away from other things. So that keeps the daily calories the same, but allowed the fat calories to come up to the proper range. At least 35, yeah. And you know, sometimes you may be like, well, I'm super active and I want to build as much muscle as possible, but you got to choose something. You can't do it all. All right, that's where I run into problems. I would love to have 10 more pounds of muscle. The problem is I'm way too overactive. I need to tone myself down a little bit. And on this over here where I choose 1.5, I should be choosing like 1.2 and making sure my activity lined up for 1.2. However, I chose 1.5 and my activity is like 2.5. So a lot of this is we calculate, but then you also have to apply it properly too. And if you don't quite get the right result. The things we are in control of. Is that or not? All right, so I want you to decide right now whether you are someone who usually works out in the morning in relation to your schedule. Like if you work third shift and 2 p.m. is your morning, you just woke up, that's still a morning workout to you. It's around breakfast. If you're normally working out more towards the dinner side of the day, you're an evening workout, all right? And this is gonna determine where we need to place our calories at. So, working out in the morning, I need y'all to draw this right here. My morning people will look like this, carbs in that column. It gets skinnier as we go down, and fats would be in this column. It gets thicker as we go down. Or, like me, I work out in the evenings. So my carbs, I'm gonna need more carbs in the evening. Remember, it's fueling locomotor movement. We want those carbohydrates. And I'm uploading this later, so make sure we'll get you that info. I need those carbohydrates around my workout, so I'm gonna make sure as the day goes on, I'm getting those carbs. Protein, you'll see throughout the day. Like I said, we hit 155 grams. That should be 31 grams 5 times a day. It should be steady throughout the day. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead. F is fat, C is carb. Yeah. Trying to keep this all color coordinated too, so we're rolling together here. Now I'm just gonna draw a breakfast. Here's how I eat. My snacks are rather large. I even call them small meals, but I'll write snack here for the sake of it. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. That is a very typical breakdown. If your schedule, however, like if you're like a breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner, some people don't get a lunch break until like 6 hours after they start, so how they have to roll. Amend this however you need to. This is all about your need, you as an individual. This is where the customization comes in. All right, now I'm just gonna put 2 little lines here on every one of them. Break up. We're gonna come up with fats, carbs, and protein of the day.
I'm fixing something.
All right. So we already established our numbers were 35, 217, 140. All right, that's our daily macronutrient numbers. We need to Let me color code these real quick. We need to start with the protein though. The protein is the easy one. It has the hardest truth, which is it needs to be as consistent as possible throughout the day. I already said it. How many grams every meal? 31. 31. All right, so we can go ahead and mark that. It's the black marker. 31. 31. 31. Easy. One less savage out of that. 31. All right, you know what it is? The rapper. There's a rapper named 21 Savage, and in the background of his songs, he's always going.
Yeah.
All right, so the next part, a little bit, the carbs and fats work very similarly. And you can see, like in my situation, I'm working out in the evening, so my fats are going to start a little heavier in the day. They're going to get smaller as we go. I won't need as many fats later on in the day. My carbohydrates are going to start smaller because I'm less active, and they're going to get bigger throughout the day because I'm getting more active. However, again, if you had a job where you were sweating all day long, or occasionally, like if I'm in a basketball tournament, I have to think differently that day. Carb would need more square or rectangle-like how the protein is, because you would need those hits of energy all day long. So there are certain days where this might have to shift around. So the critical and objective thinking habits lead to you long term. Yes. Yes. What would carbohydrates do? If you ate carbohydrates, are you burning them off? And what would they do? Turn to fat. They will turn to fat. Fat will not turn to fat nearly as easy. It's not as crazy. It works like that, but food fat, it takes a lot more to turn into fat. All right, so we're going to start next with the carbohydrates. We're going to organize these predominantly around where they're needed. All right, so we're going to put 2/3 of our carbohydrates before and after the workout. All right, so my workout goes between the snack and the dinner. So I'm going to draw a little line here. All right, y'all see that? Dotted line around the C. This is my workout between the snack and dinner. So 2/3 of these carbohydrates need to go right here. 217 times 0.6. All right, so we need 145 carbs between these two. Now we need 2/3 of our carbohydrates from there to go the larger meal. Almost said after, but if you eat dinner before the workout, need a snack after, that's cool too. So the larger meal, I'm gonna take 2/3. For the sake of this conversation, we're gonna make it 100. 100 carbohydrates. All right, and then that'll leave us with 45 right here before the workout. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to get in that high intensity heart rate zone. We're going to be burning through sugars a lot more rapidly while we're working out and pumping the muscles up, rather than during the day when we're sitting at a desk. Where we need 145, we're left with close to, looks like 70 carbohydrates that we want to split as evenly as possible through the rest of the day for the first 3 meals. So 70 divided by 3, we're gonna go with, what's that, 23 carbohydrates for the breakfast and the lunch. All right, and that's actually 20 is what I recommend if you're inactive for a meal. So that falls right along with that. All right, and that leaves us with fats. And we're going to do the exact same critical thinking for our fats as what we just did for the protein. You do not want to take in a ton of
Just wait, I'll cook dinner here in just a minute, okay?
However, near impossible to take in 0 fats.
Okay. Oh, he's saying hi. Say hi.
We're going to allow for 5 fats.
Hi.
We're going to allow for 5 for dinner and 5 before the workout. Now that means, though, you probably are not going to get a direct fat source from those meals. Putting cheese on your post-workout meal, you're going to go over 5 grams, guarantee. If you're doing avocado on your dinner after your workout, you get like what a pencil eraser size avocado for a gram of fat. So yeah, you can't do it. Those 5 grams, they're going to be taken up because there's a gram of fat in the ground turkey you used. And the bread you had 1 gram of fat. You may get 3 grams of fat, but we're allowing for 5. I took 10 of the 35 we need. Then we want to treat this just like we did with the carbohydrates. Other 3 meals, we want to keep the remainder amount of fats as evenly distributed as we can. So we have 25 left. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go 10 for breakfast, 10 for lunch, and 5 for the snack, only because the snack should be significantly less calories. It makes sense that snack should be about half the size of a meal. The amount of grams of carbohydrates should be about half the size. What's that?
So hard for me to think 10 grams of fat. Like I'm sitting here thinking like everything I eat is like at least 20 to 30 grams.
Per serving?
I mean,
So you have to amend your serving size. The numbers game. It's all how much fat's in this, how much of this am I allowed to eat to hit this number. And this is the fact. This is what's going to get the result. I mean, whenever I won second in the nation, this is what got me there for a year straight. I have a spreadsheet for a year straight. I kept these numbers every day. I was obsessed. I was also not working nearly as much as we do these days. So I had all the time on my hands, but the details, they work out. All right, now we come up for breakfast. Susie, you're supposed to be eating 10 grams of fat, 23 carbs, 31 proteins. Let me come up with a simple breakfast here. This is where you get to exercise your creative expression, but you also have to work for this. All right? 10 grams of fat. I'm going to go with some eggs for breakfast. My 10 grams of fat is going to come from 2 egg yolks. So I'm going to have 2 whole eggs. That's also going to be 10 grams of protein. I still have 20 grams of protein that I need hit. So I'm going to add in 4 extra egg whites because they're 5 grams of protein apiece. So between the 6 egg whites total I have, that's 30 grams of protein. We're good there. Got 2 whole eggs in there for the egg yolks. That's 10 grams of fat. We're good there. So now I got 23 grams of carbs. All right. Banana or an apple is like 25. So you may have a piece of fruit, or a pack of oatmeal is like 26, 27. So that still falls. If you can get within 5 of these numbers, you're in. So maybe 2 whole eggs, a pack of oatmeal, and 4 egg whites.
That's a lot of food.
Most people, I said this in the very beginning, rewind back, watch it later. Most people are under eating. You're under eating. You should be having that beforehand and then eating a full meal afterwards. I eat 36 calories a day right now. All right. Whenever I was ripped, whenever that was me, and that was me, I was about 200 pounds there. I was eating 56 calories per day. All right, it was way too much. It was unhealthy. I had high blood pressure. My cholesterol was stupid. That's one of the reasons I quit bodybuilding, because it looks good, but it's really not healthy at all. But you see that more can turn into the right results. All right, it's going to fuel the hormones like we were talking about earlier. It's going to stabilize your blood sugar. Under eating is making your blood sugar and your hormones just sag. And anybody tell me if anything that has been suppressed has ever come out with a good outcome while it's being suppressed? Okay. Nothing. So if you're under eating, you're suppressing your hormones, you're suppressing your blood sugar, your energy, all those things. This is the outcome of this conversation almost every time, is that we need to be eating more food. And most people aren't getting enough protein. They're not thinking about how many carbs they're eating based off of when they need them. They're eating, okay, well, I need carbohydrates, and they think that one track. There are levels to this. There's multiple thought processes. There's a lot that goes into it. That's why I have a job. But now you have the information. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I'm going to send everybody the link, and you can review this. All right. It took me a year of tracking this down to become a pro at it. I'd say after 6 months, I was really damn good. After a year, I was a pro. It's going to take some time, but I can go to Qdoba and I can go, okay, I just worked out. I don't need, so there goes, I'm not going to have any veggies, no queso, no cheese, no sour cream, no, I'm not going to have any of those fat sources after my workout. I'm going, okay, it was leg day. I probably burned a ton of calories. So I do need a salad meal. I don't need a salad. I need a burrito. All right, so I'm going to get the rice, beans, double chicken to make sure I hit my protein. I might throw a little salsa on there and some hot sauce. That's my meal. I've memorized how many carbohydrates are in a cup of rice, 44. All right, and that has no fat and no protein. So I'm going to look at the portions that they're doing, and also I'm thinking that stuff, that takes time. You got to know this stuff. You got to Google. If you have no idea, you're like, damn, I'm about to eat this rice. Hey, how much rice is a scoop of? Y'all are giving me a half cup of rice? Half cup of rice carbohydrates. 22. Yep.
Listen, I've been doing that for the last.
Swear, Google. If you Google a food and then the word nutrition right afterwards, pops up instantly. All right. Internet, even the slowest internet works fast enough for you to be in a restaurant somewhere and doing this. You can't be embarrassed. People are going to give you shit.
You're fine. You're fine.
You got like a 3-year-old in here. But overall, I can tell everybody, y'all see the information, y'all understand it. But everybody has that look on their face like, I don't know if I can really apply that. You're going to fail at first. You're going to have one day where you're like, oh my God, I kind of did it. And then you're going to fail again after that. I still fail some days. I'm still skipping meals some days. Last night, I went and played basketball. After I worked out, I was not supposed to play basketball. So I induced low blood sugar. I worked out way too long. And when I got home, because of that, I was like shaky. My appetite wasn't there. I couldn't eat. I ate like 300 calories, but I was supposed to eat like 1,000. I was supposed to eat like 150 carbohydrates after that. Probably ate 50. I failed last night. And I woke up this morning and I was like, my eyes wasn't hardly open. I felt like crap. I was dehydrated. So I'm paying the price today because I wasn't thinking right. I made the choice. Honestly, I walked in the basketball court and I was like, I shouldn't be doing this, but Will's up here hooping. Like, we don't get the hoop together that often. So it was a decision, but we're learning from it. We're always rolling with that information. And today I've been nailing it. I jumped right back on it this morning. Had a great breakfast, had a great lunch, had a great another lunch. Just small meal snacks. Any questions on here? Because our time's about to be up on the webinar.
I just had a quick, if you could give a quick example of like you did with the morning breakfast for 4 egg whites, 2 whole eggs, and oatmeal, what would you do for lunch?
All right, lunch. The 10 gram, it's the same macros for lunch. That's not a whole lot of carbohydrates, but I know I could make a sandwich fit that. So I'm gonna go 2 slices of bread. It's probably gonna be about 25 carbs. The bread I use is 12 carbs a piece. That's 24, that's perfect. 31 grams of protein. I know 5 ounces of turkey meat is 27 grams of protein. And I just got that memorized. You could Google that. You could look on the back of your thing. You could do that conversion in 10 seconds if you're decent in math. So that's going to give me really, really close to my 31 grams. And my 10 grams of fat, a slice of cheese is going to be like 6 to 8. Or I'm probably going to put half an avocado on that sandwich because I love an avocado spread, turkey, you know, and then I might put a pickle or 2 on there or a slice of tomato because you can always have any vegetables you want in abundance. The only downfall is going to be if it's a really green and fiber-filled vegetable, you might get gas. But on a sandwich, a slice of tomato and a pickle, it's nothing. So decent little sandwich, perfect lunch. Perfect.
That's my hard part though. Like, is that all I'm gonna eat?
Yes, but you're gonna eat 3.5 hours later and you're gonna hit these macros. You're gonna get hungry, but the frequency is going to make things happen. That's gonna make your metabolism speed up. That's the idea. You have to eat less, more times per day. Super wrestlers eat 1 meal a day. They get their daily calories. All right, that's 1746 though. They're eating at dinner right before bed, and they're eating all 1746 right before bed because they want to stay big as shit. I know you're okay. Halfway through. When I was bodybuilding, I was eating 6 meals a day, and they were all the exact same amount of calories. It was so steady. It wasn't really feasible for a normal life. I won't say my life was normal when I was 23 and this business was really starting. I didn't even have enough work to work 40 hours a week. So I was doing that. Yeah, that's all you get. But if you eat the breakfast right, if you eat that snack right, it should fall in line where you're a little more satisfied after that sandwich too. And then when you do get hungry a few hours later, you got a snack lined up, and then you got a huge freaking dinner. By the end of the day, that dinner after your workout, you're probably gonna be like, woo! And what that's gonna happen, you're You're gonna be sitting there like this.
Yeah.
Damn, I feel good. You're gonna sleep really good. You're gonna wake up though. You're not gonna be quite as hungry because that proper dinner. So you eat a little less for breakfast. Right? You have a better time eating that. You're not quite as hungry, and that not quite as hungry will follow through. You got to create the rhythm. The first 3 days to 1 week.
Because nothing appeared with unbearable.
Results happen, and it's easier. So, got to make that happen, you guys. It's getting ready to kick me off right now. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for joining in with us. I'll make sure I text out this video before the end of the week, y'all. Have a great night.